Hey there, it's Scott Oldford, and today I'm going to be showing you how to become omnipresent with Facebook advertising. So if you're somebody that wants to be kind of increase your relevancy to your market, if you don't have a lot of money to be able to just do more and more lead generation, if you really need to be able to squeeze every dollar worth out of the lead generation that you do, and you want to do it and almost kind of own the newsfeed in an ethical way, then I'm going to kind of show you a little bit of the overview of how exactly to do that. It's going to be about 15 minutes or so. Actually, just here Sunday night, and I'm leaving for about 5 weeks. But I wanted to get this out. I wanted to just kind of put this out there because, you know, one of the things that I've seen that's totally changed everything for me is kind of owning the newsfeed. And it's really, really easy to do. And a lot of people know me for being able to grow businesses. A lot of people know me for being able to utilize lead generation. But more than anything else, one of the things that I champion is being able to be omnipresent, which is AKA for being frequent. And so omnipresence is about being able to be the big fish in a small pond. It's by allowing you to, using your content and PR and your authority and your videos and all the different things that you create for your lead generation, it goes a step beyond. And what this really does, it allows you to be and increase your relevancy with the audience that you're looking to be able to sell to and to actually be able to serve. Because if we want to serve people on a higher level, we need to be able to attract them into our business and into our life. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today. I just want to quickly check, make sure this is live and on the air and all that type of stuff. Want to make sure that is all happening here. It is indeed. All right, cool. Listen, if you're here, I would love for you to just share this or like this. Let me know if you're in the house. And I'm going to get this up on my screen for any type of questions, that sort of thing. I didn't announce that I was going to do this, didn't have any emails go up beforehand. I just simply wanted to talk about it, and because it's something that people keep on asking me about, and it's actually really easy. It's not that difficult, and the effects of being omnipresent are massive. I would have not been able to build my business the way that it is today if it wasn't for the strategy. And it's so very cheap and easy to do. You know, in 2015, I literally started a business out of nothing between May and June of 2015. I was a ton in debt, all these kind of everything, all the cards were against me. And so I didn't have a whole lot of money to go on Facebook and just spend on lead generation, kind of like I do today. And if you're watching, you're probably that person. And you know, you have some money to be able to spend on Facebook ads, but you don't want to spend a ton. And I spent less than $5,000. I had less than 4,000 leads, like the entire year, and we're still able to do $500,000 in 2015, which really empowered us to be able to have an awesome 2016 and an even greater 2017. So that's really, really, really cool. And you know, it doesn't require you to spend a whole lot of money. And so the idea of it is this: when you generate leads, you generate one single lead. And so I think a lot of us forget about the fact that that's a human being, that's a human connection. And business is about connection. Business is about intimacy. Business is about being able to serve others and being able to serve them on a higher level. And by being omnipresent, it allows us to be more frequent in their life. If I keep seeing you over and over and over again, one of two things are going to happen. It's a binary. It's either I'm going to like you or I'm not going to like you. If I don't like you, I tune out. You've lost my attention, and that's fine. But if I tune in, 1 or 0, if I go 1, then I say, okay, well, cool. I'm interested now. It's just like the girl or the guy that you see at the gym, or it's the food that you keep on seeing, but you never tried, and now you try it, but you tried it because of the fact that you saw it. We typically indulge ourselves into things that we continue to see. And so the problem is that most people just generate a lead and then try to leave it to email marketing or try to leave it to almost luck or chance to be able to actually build and form a relationship. But in a world where we have lack of connection, in a world where we have lack of intimacy, we crave intimacy. The people that are going to be your customers are people, are human beings, are flesh and blood. They want to be able to connect with you. And this really allows them to almost feel like they know you before they actually know you. And the difference between somebody having seen you, your articles and your content and your posts and your authority, realizing what the new opportunity is, understanding what their pain is, understanding your solution, your process, your unique value proposition. The difference between that person getting on the phone with you and the person getting on the phone that has no idea is night or day. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to have this huge sales team. I want to be able to serve people in the best way possible, not waste their time and not waste mine. And this is the best way to be able to do it. And the cool part is that you get to charge far more. You get to be able to work with exactly the right people. And I think that's one of the coolest things about being able to be frequent in someone's life and being able to actually be omnipresent in their newsfeed. And there's many other ways, but today I'm just going to talk about the Facebook newsfeed. There's many other ways to be omnipresent, but this is just one specific way. So I want you to realize, and I just want to check again real quick. I want to make sure this is still working and that type of thing. I don't have my team on or anything like that right now. Again, appreciate if you're liking this, some of the loves and that type of stuff. I love doing these live videos and sharing what I've learned with you guys. But I would love for you to share or tag somebody that should see this and so they can implement it in their business. It's one cool strategy that really can change everything. It's not like this big thing, but it's just one little nugget that I think could probably really help you. So I'm just gonna go, just give me a quick second. I need to load this up. My apologies. Let me just make sure I'm not actually, there we go. All right, wonderful. Thank you guys. So here's what you have to realize. And I'm just gonna I'm gonna skip forward and I'm gonna come right back. So here's how a typical marketing funnel works, okay? So you have an ad. And then after that ad, you have a landing page. And then after that landing page, you have an email sequence. And then after that email sequence, you have a sale. Or kind of like a call to action. And then the person says either yes, or they say no. Now, where majority of people spend their advertising dollars is at the beginning and right here, okay? Now, while most people don't, I think everyone realizes, I think people are either lazy or, I don't even know if it's lazy. It's either people are lazy or they don't spend enough time just thinking about this. But, only 3% of people, typically at the maximum, are gonna say yes on your sale. So that leaves 97% of the leads you generate having made you nothing, okay? So nobody thinks about, okay, well, if 97% of people are down here in the no, well, that's a little bit strange, right? That's a little bit strange. You've created a relationship. You went up to someone on the side of the street and be like, you know what? You have such an amazing smile. You know what? I would love to be able to get your number so that we could go out sometime. And then you texted her, okay, or him or whatever, and then you didn't actually, there wasn't an instantaneous connection, okay? And because it was an instantaneous connection, you're like, oh, well, I'm just gonna block that number. Or I'm just gonna, I'll send her a text every once in a while. I'll send him a text every once in a while. And so what you've essentially done is that you've given up on a missed connection when in reality, it may have been a perfect fit. It may have been a perfect match. And I believe that we can do better as business owners, and not only we can do better, not just from a integrity thing. You're wasting all of your money. So what I'd rather do is be able to build intimate relationships with those 97% in an automatic, one-to-many way, and be able to bring them towards us in a way that allows us to establish this intimate connection. And it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do. So what I believe in doing is being able to really nurture those 97%, but in a way that allows us to continually be in front of their lives. So Facebook limits us from being able to show the same person an ad twice in one single day. If they like your page, 4 times a day, okay? So we can, at maximum, be in front of someone 4 times a day with another relevant message, another little, hey, have you thought about this? Or look at this really cool thing. And most people don't do this. Most people don't spend money on this. They look at it as not a real kind of return on investment. And so most people have spent all their money in advertising for lead generation, and nobody has spent it in the awareness, being able to build a tribe, being able to establish human connection. And I believe funnels, as we go forward into the future, are going to be less about this. It's going to be more about intimacy. It's going to be more about human connection. It's going to be less about the ClickFunnels page. And it's going to be more about a real, true human connection, a moment of relevancy that is paired with intimacy. And so based on that, we have this huge potential. Most of us as business owners, doesn't matter if your audience is 100 people or 500 people or you're influential to just 3 people. If you're more in their life, they're going to feel more towards you. Very, very, very basic, just humans. It's the human condition. So why not tap into that to be able to serve more people and be able to serve them at a higher level and being able to be intimate with them? So that's the why. That's why I believe this is so important, because we don't all have to go around having these massive audiences. We don't all have to go around generating tens of thousands of leads. You really don't need it in your business. But what you do need to be is frequent, top of mind. You have to be relevant at the right time, at the right place. So here's how you do that. There's really 4 types of content that you can share, massive sharing on Facebook. We have articles, video, long form image post or long form posts where you basically, it'd be kind of like an article, but it's embedded right inside of Facebook. And then authority. And all 3 of these are kind of authority, but what I'm talking about is kind of PR. Somebody else in a third party sense saying, hey, you're great. You're good at what they do. Or a case study or testimonial. Now, what most people do, they don't share any of this stuff. They share the stuff in email, okay? But the problem is that only 10% of the people are actually opening an email. So when you send 10 emails, 1 person opens. Well, on newsfeed, people may not actively look at it. However, subconsciously, they've seen you. It doesn't necessarily mean that they need to read the article or the video or whatever it may be. It's the fact that they have seen you. And we know that after someone's seen you about a dozen times or so, they actually start feeling a attraction to you, not a physical attraction per se, but an actual mental attraction of the fact that they feel like you continue to be in their life. It's kind of like the red car syndrome. You want a red car and then you keep seeing red cars everywhere. And so these 4 pieces of content can be used inside of the Facebook newsfeed to be able to, in a valuable and ethical way, own the newsfeed for the person. And it's so cheap to be able to do this. We're not trying to get a lead. We're not trying to get an opt-in. We're not trying to get a conversion. Sometimes we're not even trying to get a click. We're just simply trying to be there, and we're trying to make a point of relevancy and then continue to show them over and over and over and over again. And the beautiful thing is that now, because nobody else is doing this, your competitors aren't doing this, because of this moment and because you continue to be omnipresent, continually in front of them, frequent, top of mind, you now become the most relevant choice in your niche almost overnight for the person that you're actually going to. And it doesn't matter. You can literally utilize this strategy and literally give this information to an audience of 50 people, to 500 people, 5,000 people. And of course, as you add more people to your audience, the more expensive it gets, but it's relatively fairly inexpensive. So the way that I typically done this and the way that I typically run these ads, again, we're not running conversion ads. We're not running really anything besides, I just want to show this to you. I don't care about the call to action most of the time. I'm not trying to get you to buy anything. And most of the time, I'm not even trying to get you to book a call or try to get to my webinar. What we're trying to do is we're ethically trying to build a relationship like it was if me and you were in an actual room together. Would I really come up to you and say, hey, listen, I got this information. It's $9.97. Of course not. And would I come up to you and say, hey, listen, we got to stop this conversation because you know what? I got a 90-minute webinar and the 3 secrets that I'm going to show you are going to blow your mind. Of course I wouldn't. And so I believe that the internet has made it very easy to forget that there's actual humans behind the other side. And I think we want to change that. We want to ethically and morally be real human beings that have connection, right? At least I do. So, types of audiences. keep in mind, this is using Facebook ads. Now you can do it organically. It's a little bit more difficult. I won't go into that today because it's so easy to do kind of this in a paid way. So we have 3 different types of audiences. So if you were thinking about it, those who consume more content are hotter. All right. Those who came into your funnel, most latest, are also hotter in theory. And then along with that, content that has more commitment would also be fairly hot. So if somebody goes to your webinar, more than likely, I want to be able to target them with more information. If somebody just came from the funnel and they they've never really seen you or anything from that perspective, I want to be able to target them a little bit more, or maybe with a little bit more authority. So what you have to think about is the longer that somebody is in your audience, okay, the more they're going to go towards kind of this nurtured spot. So the less they consume, all right, I'm talking blog articles, emails, all these different types of things. The less they consume, the more we want to put them down here. We don't want to lose top of mindness, all right? We want to be able to continue to be top of mind, but in a different way. We don't want to annoy them, okay? So we have 3 different audiences inside of Facebook that we're running articles, long form posts, those different types of things. I'll talk about them in a minute and kind of the rules around it. But what we're doing is we're running 3 different audiences that, based on someone's engagement and intent, we're giving them different types of content. So for example, would I really want to retarget this exact live stream that you're watching right now to somebody that's down here that really don't engage that whole much with the content? They know who I am, they know what I'm about, they're just not ready right now. But if somebody continually engages with my content, keeps opening my emails, and again, there's tools and technology to be able to do this, would I not want to be able to target them? Now, my audience on Facebook is about 110,000 people, okay? Now, out of those people, I guarantee you the vast majority are down in the nurture spot. There's a small percentage in the warm spot, and there's even smaller in the hot spot. So I can go out to my 6,000 people in the hot and retarget this exact live stream, get a much higher viewing ratio, and at the same time be relevant to them, because the chances are they're actually going to watch it and be like, oh, that's really interesting. But if I spent all my money retargeting either that entire 110,000 person audience or to those people in the nurture, it wouldn't work. However, if I wrote a long form post and it was something that was inspirational, something that was really spoke to the entrepreneur, a personal philosophy, as I call it, then I would want to retarget everybody. That's something that I would want everybody to be able to see. And because of the commitment so low, it takes less than 90 seconds to be able to read it. It's really easy for someone to see it on the newsfeed, click the see more button, and then be able to go to the next step, which is being able to read it. So it's beautiful to think about how we utilize our video, our authority, all these different types of things. Now, here's another thing. If somebody has been on my email list for 90 days or 120 days, do I need to show them continually my PR? Do I need to continually show them my story of being $726,000 in debt? At some point, somebody knows your story. You don't need to tell them anymore. If I came up to you and said, hey, and we already knew each other, all right? And we used to hang out every day, okay? And I kept on saying, hey, you remember that time I was $726,000 in debt? You get really annoyed at that very soon. So by understanding when somebody is on your email list or inside engaging with your content or engaging with your videos, it allows you to know what content to put in front of them. Either the high commitment stuff, the, hey, look of the authority, you should listen to me, which should happen at the beginning, of course, or the, hey, here's my personal philosophy, here's my personal story, or whatever it may be. Okay, I'm not going to go into the 6 story types, but I did another video about the 6 story types that we should use inside of our post, and that, of course, is here. So this means, let's say you have a new podcast and you want to be able to put that out. You don't want to put that out to your entire audience. You want to put those out to that have been your audience for a little bit, a little bit of time, and are more than likely going to actually listen to it and be like, why would I want to hear a podcast? If someone just came into my funnel 3 days ago, they're not going to listen to podcasts of me for 60 minutes, talk about whatever. It's not going to happen. Now, the next piece that's here that is really, really sort of important is to realize that every single one of these kind of integrates into your own omnipresence strategy. So it's about having these kind of library of content that continually is being put in front of your audience in the warm, hot, and kind of nurtured audiences. And thinking about what is the experience that that person should have at this specific point. Okay, so that's the different types of content, and keep in mind you kind of want a variation of these types. You want to continually keep this content fresh, but the beautiful thing is, and I'll show you in a minute, it's so cheap to be able to put this into your small audiences. I'm talking $5 a day, less than $5 a day. Okay, because it's not about putting too much in front of them. It's not about just putting more and more content, or putting a bunch of stuff that's useless, that's not valuable to them. It's about actually being able to know if somebody wants this content and being able to serve more to them, and then of course letting the Facebook algorithm take care of the rest. Okay, so I know I hammered that home, but I know it's important. Now, when you do this, you have two options to be able to implement this kind of strategy. Now, and before and after this, I will tell you the 3 different types of Facebook ads that you need to run, okay, in order to be able to do this, and then the type of copy to use, okay? So here's what you kind of want to understand. There's the simple way, okay, of being able to do this, and then there's the complex way. Simple way is very simple. You have these different audiences. You say, okay, people that have visited my website in the last 7 days, people that visited my video in the last 14 days, people that have had engagement in the last 14 days, and you can do this all inside of Facebook very easy, and boom, done. Sweet, let's just get content in there. My recommendation is for most of you to do that, all right? That is it's not gonna cost much. If you don't have a big audience, you don't have a big retargeting list, you don't need to worry about it too much. I'll talk about budgeting and that type of thing in a second. The complex way is a lot of if else. So if they watch this, do this. If they looked at this, do this. My recommendation is, unless you have an ad manager, do not implement that, because and if you do not have a big audience, do not implement that. I do something in between. Some of the people I do work with are more on this side, but they have ad managers to put it in there. Honestly, personally, I'm too lazy to do that. I believe not not one size does not fit all, but there's a level. I always believe that the lazy way will always typically get 80% of the effectiveness, but it takes 20% of the time of the complex way. So simple, aka lazy, I would typically kind of be in somewhere in between here. But if you want to get started right now, just do those simple things where you're just getting in front of the audience. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So now, next thing I want to talk about is how to actually set these up. So if you go into the Facebook Ad Manager, you have 3 different options that you're going to want to use. First one is post engagement. So this allows you to boost existing posts. You can boost videos, you can boost images, long form posts, articles, that type of thing, okay? All right, so this one here is really good from a social proof perspective. I find it worked fairly well. And the beautiful thing is that you can literally spend $1 a day on this particular strategy. So really good strategy. And this will basically allows you to take any newsfeed post that you put on your Facebook and just kind of put it out to your audience. The way that I typically do it, I put it out to my likes. So I got, I think, about 18,000 likes. I put it out to my likes, and then I change it, and then I put it to my next kind of audience. Okay, so that's a simplistic way to do it. The more complex way, of course, is going to the nurture audience first, and then going to the hot audience in order to get some of that social proof. Okay, this next one is just simple clicks. That's for an article. So if you're getting people into an article, you would just use the clicks objective inside of Facebook. Now, if you're doing a live video, if I'm going to go and take this live video and then put it out there and put advertising to it, I'm going to use post engagement. Now, you're going to have to test. Sometimes video views is better because you get more video viewage. Sometimes posting your video via the post engagement is sometimes actually cheaper, right? Not always, depends. You're going to have to test and that type of thing. So post engagement, clicks, video views, those are the main 3. Now, there's a 4th. Nobody talks about it. I've never found anything online about this. I don't understand why. I've started using it, and it is absolute fire, okay? So problem with those 3 others is that your frequency is going to get higher. So someone's going to see your video like 5 or 6 times potentially. Okay, it depends on what the budget looks like. If you go into an objective, there's actually a brand awareness objective that allows you to set how many times that somebody can see this in a set specific time. So what this allows you to do, you can literally create an audience and you can retarget your website traffic, and you can tell Facebook, I only want you to show this ad 1 time ever, okay? Now, just think about that for a minute. Instead of continually just pounding the same person with the same ad, you can take 15 different ads of 15 different content pieces and be able to make sure that they see every single one in succession. It doesn't necessarily need to be in succession of like, oh, number 1, number 2, not like that. But more so the fact that they would see all 15 and you're not spending money showing the same things as the same person over and over and over again. Unlike an ad, a lead generation ad, where somebody needs to see it multiple times before they actually click, most people will have a very high click-through rate, a 10, 20, 30% click-through rate on something that they are familiar with. Now, they may not actually click into it, but they'll click to see more or they click into the picture. So by doing this, we drastically reduce the amount of money we need to spend to be able to be in front of someone. I'm talking, I was in front of an audience of 7,000 people showing over a dozen ads, and it cost over the span of a month, and it cost me less than $150. That's amazing, okay? That's amazing. Nobody's using it. I don't know why. I haven't figured that out yet. No one talks about it. Everyone I talked to hasn't never even used it. And this is just the most brilliant thing Facebook's ever done ever, especially when it comes to the Omnipresence strategy. So I'm like doubling in on this one, testing that. Beautiful thing is you can do it with video, you can do it with all different types of things. So, you know, it works just in this amazing way to be able to save you money. So that's that piece. Now, in terms of budgeting, super simple. The way that you budget this stuff, super small budgets, $5 a day budgets. If you see the fact that, you know, most of the time it's not going to spend more than $5 a day. If you need to put more budget in, then of course put more budget in. But the beautiful thing is with these micro campaigns, these very small omnipresent campaigns, you put the lifetime budget for say 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You just let them run. You just kind of let them run in the background. The KPI of this is being omnipresent. The KPI of this is not measurable from a perspective of, oh, my lead is X. It is this. If you want to be notorious in your industry, if you want to be notorious in your niche, then you do this. If you want to be famous to this small group of people that is your audience, where you feel larger than life, if you want to be frequent in front of them all the time, this is the strategy you use. And in terms of the content, in terms of the way that the content's actually positioned, because I did say I was going to show that to you. We can get back here. No, one more. Actually, sorry. The colder the audience, the more you need to remind them who you are. Okay, so if someone's been on your email list, if you're targeting an audience and the person's been on your email list for 90 days, and you come up and be like, "Hey, it's Scott Oldford here. Remember me?" You don't need to tell them that. Okay, you don't need to reintroduce yourself. So the content that you share, the videos or whatever it may be, based on who you're putting it to, based on who the content's for, how you're going to be from an omnipresent perspective, you can just get right into the content. You don't have to be like, when I was broke or when I was doing this or whatever story it is that you connect with the audience that you connect with. You don't need to do that. Right? Coming here today, this video is not for somebody, ideally, at the end of the day, that doesn't know me. So I don't need to put in all kinds of social proof. I don't have to say that, how much I was in debt. I don't have to show, I was on all these, media channels, all of that type of stuff. Okay. That's not what I need to build. The authority that is being built now is the fact that you're giving someone something of value that is relevant to them at the right time and right place. Now, obviously, some of this is based of the right time and right place is based upon the fact that you are attracting people that actually are in the slow lane or fast lane, that actually want to be able to solve the problem, that actually want a solution. And what we're doing is we're kind of thrusting upon them a new reality by constantly being in front of them. And so this strategy really comes from understanding and realizing that omnipresence, being frequent, allows us in a drastic way to elevate ourselves and help the people that we are attracting. It's not about more, it's about quality. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And the strategy allows you to do that in just such an amazing way, to be frequent, to really allow you to serve the people that you're just so passionate about. So anyways, that's all I got for you. The technical side of this, I might do some training on that at some point. If you want that, let me know below. But I just wanted to give you the concepts. If you're an ad manager, this is actually a lot easier to set up than it sounds. If you're an entrepreneur, this is actually a lot easier to set up than it sounds. What you really just want to get doing, you've got to get out of the mindset that you need a conversion. You got to get out of the mindset that you need a sale today. What you do have to get in the mindset of is realizing that our job is to be able to distribute value to the people that need it the most, so that they're attracted to us and so that they are compelled to be able to work with us, so that we are the best and most relevant top of mind choice in our industry, so we can do what we do best. So with that, my friends, see you soon. Actually, I didn't check any questions. I'm just gonna quickly bring this up here. I think, all right. I think that's it. So with that said, we'll talk soon. See you later, guys. Bye.